I'm Owen Bigland. This is the Inside Edge video blog. Will the price of Vancouver condos ever come down? That's what's been on everyone's mind the last 3 or 4 years. Well, this market continues to go up. Now, I guess I could fool a few people and say, of course, they're never going to come down. Their real estate prices never go down. They always only go up. You buy a $500,000 condo today, it's going to be worth $1 million 4 years from now. I actually see some people on the other side of the coin being a little too positive on real estate. It's rare. Most are pretty negative on it. But answer the question, yes, of course. The price of Vancouver condos, as I've been blogging about for many years, it's been on a tremendous bull run here. Eventually the music will stop, the prices will level off, and we will be in for one of our run-of-the-mill corrections that I've been through many over the last 30 years. Not many people can say that. There's not a lot of bloggers and people putting out information there that have been in this business as long as I have, over 30 years. So I've seen many a market correction. They slowly peter out, prices balance off, we stop getting multiple offers, and then eventually we get into a correction mode. And how long that lasts is anyone's guess. How severe it'll be is anyone's guess. But markets don't go up forever, and we are overdue for a run-of-the-mill market correction, whether that's 5, 10, 15%. Maybe it'll be a little more severe, 20 or 25. I don't know if that's going to happen in 2018, 2019, or 2020. Right now, it's still a strong seller's market for Vancouver condos. Remember that. Anyone that tries to tell you otherwise is not telling you the truth. But you never know, down the road, eventually this market will cool. I mean, this is been an incredibly resilient market. It's a beast. I have never seen anything quite like this run we've been on in my 32 years, especially when you consider everything that has been thrown at it to try and cool it. Three or four quarter-point mortgage rate hikes. I've lost count. Maybe someone can tell me about how many mortgage tightenings and new and tighter requirements they've done to qualify for a mortgage. 7 or 8. I mean, you have to give your firstborn now almost in your right arm to be able to qualify for a mortgage. It's always been difficult to qualify for a mortgage, but it's gone beyond that now. So they've thrown that NDP government with the foreign buyers tax increase, the increased PTT tax, the school tax, City of Vancouver with the empty homes tax, the NDP bringing in the speculator tax later this year. They've thrown everything but the kitchen sink at this market, and it is still, as far as the condo market goes, and it is still stayed a strong seller's market, with the price to listings ratio hovering probably between 30 and 40%, which is anything above 20% is considered a seller's market. But eventually they'll throw enough things at this market. Eventually we'll get some more mortgage rate hikes. Eventually we get just what I call buyer fatigue, and the market will go into a slowing mode and prices will come down. We'll see where it goes. And you'll be the first one to know when the market does start to cool, as far as prices go anyways. And we're talking Vancouver condos here. But on another note, one of the reasons why this market has stayed so strong, there's 3 factors in my opinion here that people ask me about all the time. So it's time to do another blog on it. Why Vancouver prices are so resilient, and will we ever get affordable condos in Vancouver? Well, prices, I can tell you, will come down. As I've just pointed out, a 5, 10, 15% run-of-the-mill correction is quite normal, and we're overdue for one. Will condo prices ever be affordable for the average Joe, the average wage earner? So that would be a guy earning maybe $50,000 a year. To live in downtown Vancouver or any of the surrounding neighborhoods, Mount Pleasant, Kitsilano, the answer to that is no. They will never be affordable to you. Unless you're earning 6 figures moving forward, you are not going to be able to buy a condo in downtown Vancouver. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. You're not going to be able to buy a condo in Manhattan either. But all hope is not lost. You can either get a better job, make more money, get a second job, scrimp and save to get into the downtown market, or nothing wrong with living on SkyTrain in a place like Surrey or New Westminster or Coquitlam or wherever where you can afford. But there are three factors that are keeping the prices for downtown Vancouver condos so strong and will continue to keep the prices elevated and out of reach permanently for most average wage earners. The first thing is the city itself. Vancouver has been discovered, it was discovered many decades ago, as one of the best places to live in the world. Don't take my word for it. Many publications over the years have rated Vancouver very high. It's the only place I'd want to live. We've got everything here: mountains, water, great weather, mild winters, world-class restaurants, sporting events, whatever you want, it's all here. So this is a desirable city for people to live. There aren't as many desirable cities like Vancouver as people think in this world, and this is at the top of the list. There's others. Don't get me wrong, Vancouver isn't the only city like that, but it's definitely one of the elite cities for lifestyle and where people want to live. And when you have that, you've got high real estate prices. If you can show me a city that ranks as high as Vancouver in all those categories and has cheap real estate, please let me know. Drop me an email or make me a comment on my YouTube. I'd like to know where these cities are. The second thing is, of course, is low inventory and lack of buildable land in the lower mainland. And that is really one of the other main drivers here. We've got water, we've got mountains, we've got the agricultural land reserve. Any buildable land that is still left in Vancouver, you've got the NIMBYs, the not in my backyard. We've got a tremendous amount still of single-family detached homes within a mile or two of the downtown core. We're one of the few cities that has that, that have our prices. Very difficult for development. It's kind of a trickle in. I've done many blogs on this in the past, how we trickle in supply. Demand is ultra high and always will be, and is growing every single year. Yet, of course, we just simply can't keep up with the demand. We are trickling in supply. Very difficult to get anything built. Takes years and years to get things rezoned. Then you've got to go through the NIMBYs. Development costs are extremely expensive, as I blogged about before. As far as downtown Vancouver goes, the cavalry is not on the way, and it never will be. Everything from this point on in downtown Vancouver is only going to be luxury condos. There is not going to be anything what anyone might think as affordable housing being built in downtown Vancouver. It's all going to be starting at $1,500 a square foot and up. It has to, when the developer is paying $70 million for a small parcel of land. That's the only way they're going to make their money back. Final thing, of course, is a number of other factors. Low interest rates. We've enjoyed some very nice low interest rates over the last 5 or 6 years. Interest rates are creeping up slowly, but the economists I talk to, the articles I read, we're going to get some more quarter point increases here, but over the next decade, interest rates are going to stay quite low, compared historically anyways. I mean, I can remember when I was paying 11-12% on my mortgages. I blogged about it, how when we dipped into the 9% on some of my mortgages, I thought I had died and gone to heaven. You know, now I'm paying 2.5, 2.75 on a lot of my properties. That will creep up slowly, but it's still going to be what most people would consider to be low interest rate environment here for the next decade or more. Low property taxes. Canada, and I've done many blogs on this in the past too. Every year when the tax assessments would come out, I always did a blog because people would start complaining about the assessments going up and their property taxes going up, which I always had a good laugh at, telling them that, you know, you're paying a fraction of the property tax that they would pay in California or New York or New Jersey or most other North American jurisdictions. Our property taxes here are extremely low, but there's a reason why they're low. Our property taxes are low, but we get killed on our income taxes. Our income taxes are substantially higher than most jurisdictions in the US. We make up for it, though, with our property taxes, and that's why owning your principal residence is the only way to go. Take advantage of the principal residence exemption and take advantage of those low property tax rates. But it's another incentive for people to buy and hold real estate. Rental rates here to rent a property in Vancouver are extremely high, as we know, and it's getting worse. Vacancy is at about 1%. To rent just an average one bedroom in downtown Vancouver right now, you're looking at $2,200, $2,300 a month. To get a decent two bedroom, you're looking at $3,300, $3,500 a month. So there's not much of an alternative there to renting long term. There is none. It's crazy. So because of that, people realize that if I'm going to live in Vancouver, I've got to be an owner. I don't want to be a long-term renter and drop $800, $900, $1 million in rent over the next 25 years, which is what you're going to spend. Do the math on it. So, real estate, of course, is also considered a good alternative. Investing in real estate is a safe alternative or a hedge or a good way to diversify your investment portfolio. Hopefully you've got your RRSP, your TFSAs, you've got stocks, you've got bonds, and then investment real estate is the next step there. So for those three reasons, that's why real estate in Vancouver will remain strong. And, nothing is off the table. But I do hear the chatter. It's up again here. Of course, it happens every couple of years. I've been hearing it for over 35 years, is that a market crash in Vancouver real estate is just around the corner. I see people blogging saying that we're due for a 50 or 60% correction. Nothing is off the table. I guess it could happen. I don't see it happening. What I do see happening is over the next 15, 20, 25 years, every 3 or 4 years, we should get a market correction, what I call a run-of-the-mill Vancouver style one, which is generally 5 or 10 or 15%. That's what I see moving forward. We could get something a little more severe, 20 or 25%, but if you look at it in context to where the market's been, a 25% correction would take us back to where we were summer of 2017. So it's not going to take a whole lot of appreciation off the market if we dropped 25%. So will condo prices in Vancouver ever come down? Absolutely they will. Maybe this is the year, maybe next year. But it'll probably be not nearly as severe as some people are calling for. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go on the record right now and say for these pundits that are predicting a big crash, and it's inevitable and it's going to happen, and some of them are saying it's happening right now. Well, we've had a correction in the detached market for sure, although that seems to be stabilizing. It depends. If you're buying luxury, then that's definitely off. Starter level homes, though, in Vancouver, East Vancouver, Richmond, are actually pretty solid again. Things are selling, and prices have started to stabilize on those detached homes. It's only the luxury stuff that's getting killed still. But these people that are calling for these huge corrections and 50% market drop, I think you're going to be very, very disappointed with the market correction we eventually get here in Vancouver. I do. I hate to break it to you, but I think you're going to be very disappointed in what happens. I think it's going to be just like the other 3 or 4 corrections we've had over the last 25 years. It's going to be 10, 15%. Market's going to go down slowly. It'll be a slow descent. All the way down, I'll have my savvy investor clients probably buying good quality units on sale, don't have to get into bidding wars. After 18 months or 2 years, the market might tread water for a year, and then somebody will click the switch and off she'll go again. And that's kind of the way our corrections have gone over the last 35 or 40 years here in the Lower Mainland. 50% correction, highly unlikely. It could happen, but I think for the most part, most of these people that are calling for some major crash are going to be very disappointed with what happens here, and they will forever be on the sidelines. But again, I've talked about these people before. Very few of them have passed those 2 courses I talked about at real estate school, getting the down payment funds together and getting pre-approved for a mortgage. They're not in a position to take advantage of any market correction we get anyways. For the life of me, I don't understand why they beat themselves up and spend all this time complaining when they're not in a position to take advantage of it when it does come anyways. But that's one of those things in the world I'll probably never understand with some people. But for the reasons I've outlaid here, one of the best cities in the world to live in, bar none. Lack of buildable land, lack of supply, trickle-in supply, which we've been doing for the last 20 years here. Demand is high, supply is low, and continues to be low. There's no cavalry on the way that I can see. And then, of course, low interest rates, low property taxes, a safe, stable investment, and a good hedge and a good complement to other investments is what real estate is for most people. For those reasons, I think the prices will stay fairly strong over time. I'm Owen Bigland. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.